What is going on, Honey Badger Nation? Man, this is John Kitchens, and welcome to episode 114 of Expert Mentors Live. I'm really excited for today's episode. We've got the man, Mr. Dan Hilsman, on with us. We're going to dive into partnering with agents to be able to really grow something bigger together than we could ever do by ourselves. So, Dan, say hello to the Honey Badger Nation.
Hey, Honey Badger Nation, it's been a long time coming. I am super excited, and let's see if I can add a little value or help somebody get over a hump or a bump or past the stopping point. So let's see what we can do here, John.
It is a long time coming for sure. I've been looking forward to this conversation for quite some time, and Dan, you guys, make sure you have your notepad and ready to buckle in. Just been fortunate enough to kind of be on the other side and kind of watching this journey over the last couple of years, and it's been pretty dang cool. But before we jump in, I want to say congratulations. It's Mr. and Mrs. Hilsman's 25th wedding anniversary today, so I appreciate her for letting you spend some time with us today.
That's right. Actually, she's at work. She's not in real estate. She's out on an appointment, and since she's not in the room, she's my big why. So a lot of the stuff we're talking about today, I figured out or got to or have been blessed with because of her.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations. So jump in. There's a lot of folks that don't know much about you. They should, and I would love for you to just give a little background, give a little story, kind of fill everybody in on who you are.
Sure. So I've been in the Metro Atlanta area over 20 years selling real estate, struggling early and often in the beginning. Many years ago, I had the bright idea to get a broker's license, open my own company, be a broker owner. And I don't know, that lasted a year or two until one day I had to drive to a government building to find the building, to find the office, to find the file cabinet where the 1099s were. And so I can tell you that was a while back. But by the time I got home 4 hours later, I thought, I just want to sell real estate. So I then left and went and was a broker in charge of a small company. And that was going real well until the owner, who also owned a mortgage company, got a little trouble with bank and finance, and we walked in one day and we were closed. So I thought, instead of focusing on mortgages and fiddling around with real estate, I'll just dive full into real estate. And became full-time at that point, was a struggling agent, and floundered around just a few deals here and there, just enough to make ends meet and get by. Last company I was with, I did pick up some steam and started doing pretty well in real estate and learned a lot. Had a small team, very small, 2, 3, 4 agents. And something happened one day, which made me kind of look at the company, realized there were some things going on there that weren't in line with my thinking, and was looking for a change. Had a friend come up and said, actually, I had a quarterly meeting at Maziano, who's in Atlanta, came up and said, hey, what do you think? I said, I'm leaving. He said, where are you going? I said, I don't know. He said, you heard of EXP Realty? I said, yeah, I don't think they're in Georgia. I didn't know anything about them. And he wasn't at EXP. He told me to call his friend who was at EXP. And I had 27 questions for that guy, and he blew my last, which was my most important question, which was about Commissions Inc. and how the IDX is all transferred over. And luckily, thank goodness, the guy said, I don't know, my wife handles that. He didn't refer me to his wife, didn't have her call me, didn't say I could call her. But I knew I sold on EXP. And so I started doing a lot of due diligence, found Jay Kinder, had several conversations. And I moved over rather quickly. I think it's like 4-week range. Yeah. But as I've told some agents, I'm the guy, if you're at EXP looking for agent, I'm the type guy you're looking for. I had a lot of pain. I've been with the same company for a while, and there's 3 sides to every story, but my side of the story, I wasn't very happy. I had pain. I was leaving. And also, I saw the value in EXP, so I saw a lot of pleasure. So it's in the attraction piece, it's kind of hard to find both of those. That's who you're looking for, though. And luckily, I had both of them and at a high level. And, talking to Jay a few times and with Mr. Reese, and then the rest is history as far as them being my sponsors.
Yeah. And I can't remember. I mean, I think we had spoke a couple times, but really was able to connect on a much, closer level at one of our boot camps when we were still able to get in person. And
yeah, that was a big deal. That boot camp, the first one, John, was really big because guy just came to the company. I had just brought over, I can go ahead and say, just James and Ronald Moore had just come. James Massey, Ronald Moore had just come over, and I had 7 people total coming to getting on a plane from Atlanta to fly to Texas to go to a boot camp to see what this was all about. And some of them weren't at most of them were not at EXP yet. So I remember my wife said, "You got 7 people to go to Texas to go to a boot camp with a company you just joined with a person that you've never met before." She goes, "You sure that's she's basically wondering if my life was going to be in danger." I said, it should be fine, but I really didn't know because I hadn't met Jay in person. I hadn't been through an AEA. I hadn't been to a boot camp, but, I'll never forget Levi. About halfway through day 2, I asked him, I kind of leaned over and said, "What do you think?" And he nudged me and he said, "I think I like this better because it's easier to communicate to my client. It's easier to communicate to the agents." And so I knew at that point that, once Levi came over with James and Ronald and the other people in the room would come over. And so I had a nice little head start with 7 agents. But actually, of those 7, only 3 are on my front line. But it was still a blessing and still a good little good jump start.
Yeah. And I want to come back around to that here in a little bit. Just the structuring and doing the right things. Not playing for the short-term grab, playing for the long game. And, we had an opportunity to kind of chat. And I think, really the challenge, I think back to you was, what do you want? What do you want this to be? What is the goal? What does this need to look like for you? And, it was awesome. You were like, "Let me think about it, but I'll get it back to you." And, I should have grabbed it. I've got your plan. It's somewhere. It's in one of these folders right here on my desk. But I'll never forget that.
Yeah. I knew enough to know that I didn't fully know. And that went on for about a year, John. Actually, it's still, to tell you the truth, it's still going on. And I've talked to some other people that you coach, and I know that they've had changes in mindsets and the direction that they're going into. So probably. It's life and we're not in total control of all of it. So you have to be a little nimble and have to go with the flow. But you don't know what you don't know for sure. And it's good not to jump into a direction until you're confident on that direction as well. So I was blessed to have that, that hadn't happened a whole lot in my business career. So it happened that day.
So, the one thing that really stood out and was just wondering, the company you were at, and I know, we don't need to get into all the details of that organization and their beliefs and,
right.
Something you said just didn't align with you. Right. So that goes back to understanding, knowing your core values and making sure you're at a place that's in alignment to what it is, to who you are. If not, it'll never work. It just never does. So, did you, when you were evaluating and having conversations with Jay, obviously coming out of that situation, you didn't want to get back into it. What were some of the things that, really you didn't know about EXP or know a lot, but you were like, okay, I feel like this is the right move for me at this time and point in my career?
Yeah. A lot of that's based on, and I might run some people off here, but if I do, I'm sorry. But a lot of that's based on spirituality and faith and belief. And then, think about it. I had 20 plus years of experience and I couldn't seem to muster over 2 to 4 agents on my team for a 5.5 year period of time. So I knew, and I was prayerful that at one point I'm like, how is this even possible that I've been doing this long? I could be of a big help to some agents and I have hardly anyone to help. And the agents that I do have to help, I don't know. They're, somewhat frustrating running a small team. So I knew I either had to grow that team or get rid of that team. But I often wondered for years, how's this small with this little answers to my prayers, and how come it's not much bigger, and how come I don't have a lot more people that I can help at a higher level? So when I saw the Model VXP, I was really excited. I mean, I'm the guy that was walking around, mumbling around, talking to himself after I got off the phone with Jay in the sporting goods store and got 30 minutes home and realized I didn't buy what I went into the sporting goods store for. So, I mean, I'm the guy that totally got it, was super hopeful, also old enough to know that might not be it, but it sure looked like it. And then, I mean, I tell folks that, look, here's my deal. And I tell agents when I'm talking about agent attraction, here was my situation was, I looked at the model, I did a lot of due diligence, and I was scared to leave because I'd had my best 2 years back to back. I was super comfortable where I was. In fairness to them, the conflicts I had with them, they didn't see them as conflicts or anything to be concerned about. But it was my life and my decision. So that wasn't for me, but I tell them so. I was scared to leave. And then because on paper, I was basically, if you draw the line down the piece of paper, it looks a little bit nuts. Been with the same guy for a long time on a 94% split, leaving to go to an 80% split with a guy you don't know, and I have a wife and 2 kids. So on paper, probably, not a good idea. So you got to go with more than what's on each side of the piece of paper sometimes. So, and I was hopeful on the revenue share, as Jay tells, as I told Jay, but I really didn't know. But it had the core things that I needed. So I wanted an element of coaching, and I wanted a good CRM, and I wanted some help and support. And luckily, I'm gullible enough that when I asked Jay, I said, man, are you really going to help me? And he said he would. And I thought, hey, he doesn't know who I am. I'm going to hold him to that. So he'll either help me or he won't. And Jay's never let me down, done everything he said he would do. And I tell folks, call Jay and he'll help you. Jay's a little bit, he's an important, busy person in my life. So I don't just call Jay. I get on his schedule and ask for help. Mm-hmm. And I did that a lot in the beginning, and I don't do it as much anymore, but I still do it. I still have 3 calls with Jay, and that's super important. So, yeah, it's a long answer, but that's what I got for you on that.
No, I love that. And he is, I mean, I forget who I had a conversation. We were talking about the same thing. I mean, he has the biggest heart of any human I know. And I've known him for a long time. And he's the guy that he will literally, and I've seen it, he will literally give his shirt right off of his back and give it to you. And, he really is that guy. And one of the things that I really love about your leadership, and I saw your name on the calendar all the time, and I was like, I love that, and that's what drives him too. But I've seen it cascade down to your organization, right? The people that you brought over. I see their names consistently in his calendar. And that was the lesson, right? Somebody was asking me yesterday, what do you see those that within the Honey Badger organization that is doing well? I said, they're consistently on Jay's calendar. Yep. And they were like, I said, that's the KPI. And they're like, got it. And I said, let's see if your name shows up and see how often it shows up. I said, that should be your measurement. How many times are you on his calendar, either in a 3-way call or questions about things that you could be doing better? If he doesn't know the answer, he's going to tell you he doesn't know, but he's going to point you in the direction to where you can go figure it out. And so kudos to you. That's a great lesson. Andre, obviously into your organization, and, great love there from Andre, and Andre is amazing. Your whole organization is amazing. So
good blessing.
One thing that I want to emphasize for everybody listening in, that Dan did out of the jump. He got people on an airplane and got him into an event. I know it's a little bit of a challenge right now. 21 is going to open up. We're going to do, I know coaching wise, we're going to do 4 next year, 1 each quarter. And then, Jay and I, we want to do at least 2 masterminds, if not 3 next year. So, there's going to be 6 or 7 events that just what we're doing, not even what EXP's doing. And if you've got people on the fence, like you weren't even their sponsor yet when you got them on the airplane to come to Frisco.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. One of them was just going to see, let me go check it out. So yeah, the boot camp's great. I mean, the mastermind, if you're able to get in and able to bring people, those are fantastic. I haven't missed, I've been to Key West twice, Cincinnati, Las Vegas, Arizona, and then recently to Mexico.
Yeah.
So I don't bring as many people as I should, and I went to Mexico by myself. Wife couldn't even go, but man, some great lessons in Mexico. My biggest takeaway was something I'd heard before, but it's super simple but super easy. And it was talking to Tina Kaw in the airport on the way home and her husband, and they mentioned that, the takeaway of, this might not be a good fit for you when they're talking to agents.
Mm-hmm.
And so I use that every time now, almost every time. And the reason is because as soon as I say this might not even be a good fit for you, but I'll be happy to walk you through the process and help you slowly go down the due diligence and understand the opportunity if you'd like for me to. Might not be a good fit for you. So now all of a sudden they're not thinking I'm about to pounce on them. I just told you it might not be a good fit for you. So obviously I'm not trying to get you over to any cost, or I would have never said that. So that was massive. That, and on a humorous note, asking Tina's husband how, kind of silly, but somehow he mentioned that I don't think they mind me telling us, about 70-something% of their agents were capping agents. And I was like, those aren't my numbers. So I said, how do you do that? And he said, well, we're only talking to capping agents.
Yep.
Like, all right, that's dumb me down on my end, but that was actually very important. And it was something I did bring home, and it's something I'm trying to focus more on. So
that's a great point. That is a great nugget.
It doesn't have to be rocket science sometimes, right?
Yep. We got capping agents. We're only talking to capping agents. It's the whole, we're not trying to make a buyer. We're looking for buyers, right?
Yep. That was awesome.
Let's talk about the kind of really coming over, starting to like, okay, hey, I've made a good decision here. I've got a lot of great alignment.
Yep.
All right, let's get the plan together. And really, it's like, okay, I'm not a mega agent. I don't want to be a mega agent. I don't want to build a mega agent team. So what's my plan have to look like? That's an alignment to my goal. So for you, as in where you were 2.5 years ago, like what's that plan need to look like?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So one day Jay called, and I did a call similar to this with him. And after the call, I realized that I was out of people to call, and that I didn't really know how to do this. I didn't bring over I think I had maybe 6 that I brought over on my front line in about 4 months. So I had a little bit of a jump start, but maybe not as much as some folks think. So it was actually a pretty scary moment, because I was like, all right, what do you do now? And luckily I'd listened to probably everything Rob Flick had ever recorded that I could find. And what really stuck with me with Rob is he said, if you can figure out how to bring 2 agents a month over, it's not a get rich quick scheme, but it's a get rich for sure scheme. Mm-hmm. And, getting rich sounds good, but I try to just focus on, if I can help enough agents, then everything else will take care of itself. For a little while there, I was doing about 2 a month, but now it's more like 1 a month, because it needs to be a higher quality agent, as well as a higher quality onboarding process, as well as a higher quality after onboarding process, as well as, I do Zooms. I had about an hour and 30-minute Zoom with the lady yesterday, and we're mostly going over KV Core, which is something 2 years ago I wasn't willing to do. 2 years ago, I would have told that agent, no, probably not. I'll show you how to get a site and you get your own leads, instead of, hey, I've got a tracked ROI. I can do some new construction funnels. I'm driving it to KV Core. Let me show you everything. Get you set up on KV Core. Get you some of my leads as a referral. Teach you how to do that. Tie you into a tracked ROI or Facebook leads. So I'm helping her be a better agent, which I actually love. But in the beginning, a couple of years ago, it was like, I remember once when I came over, I'm like, well, the guys asked me about getting onboarding, which used to be a nightmare. And I'm like, I don't know. I got on board by myself. I don't know why these people can't get on board by themselves. I thought the game was over then. Hey, man, they signed their ICA, but golly, that's just, you'll know you're about 30% done when that happens.
That's a great point for everybody listening in, is
maybe 30.
There's this, what's the greatest what's the greatest thing you've ever, somebody's ever given you. And I was fortunate enough, there's a gentleman that's a new home builder back in Oklahoma. And he gave me the best piece of advice ever. But one of the lessons that he taught was that he goes, my job doesn't start when we sign that contract. He goes, my job starts as a new construction builder the day they close on their new home and they're ready to move in.
Wow.
And I was like, got it. And it's about their experience once they're in the home. And wow. I remember when he was in, I got him into Lawton, and I had sold his first house. I listed and sold, and I had the buyers, and they were military, and they were out of service warranty. So they sold in about 2.5, 3 years. They had orders to move out. They were out of warranty, right? Builder 1 year warranty, 10-year, on foundation and stuff like that. But he went over there and he helped do the items to help punch out to get the home sold for them 3 years later. Like, he had
wow.
no obligation to do that,
right.
but it was the right thing to do. And so what you just shared just spurred that. And that's the same lesson, right? Our job when we bring people on, is not over when they sign, right? It actually just starts. And I think that's just a great lesson.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And then it's then that too, changes also. So I try to reach out with agents on and find out how they're doing, what they need. Well, I don't try to, actually. I do that. I used to try to, but now it's part of the system where you're going to get a call from every now and then. You're going to get a call even if you're not about to fall off FLQA. You're going to get some sort of a reach out or a help or a schedule for a coffee or a Zoom or just a phone call. So look, it's all about building relationships. So it's all about building relationships. And I had to hear that so many times to understand it's all about building relationships. It's not, in the beginning, let me tell you about EXP, because don't tell anybody, but I need you to come over so I can have, fulfill my dreams and fulfill my why. And, so it's gone from, and I was still sincere and thought it was a good fit. But now, I actually look at people's situations, and it's not a perfect fit for everyone. I talked to a 72-year-old guy that'd been at the same company 40 plus years. He had 2 more years left in him. I'm not going to disrupt that man's life. Now, if he wanted to, I would, but he said, look, got 2 years left, not interested in building a business or a team. You don't need the stock. I have an exit strategy. He didn't need to come over, right? Or if you're on a transaction-only company in Atlanta, maybe, and you want to be left the heck alone and do 10 deals a year and don't aspire to any more than that, you should probably not come over.
Yeah.
There are situations that if you're really trying to build a relationship and figure out who they are and what they need, then you have something to work with there. And then, the people that, one reason I have the people that I have is because I got told no more than the people that have less people than I do. So, but, no is often turned into a maybe or a yes later. But a lot of that now is strategy on looking at the no, and then me taking an honest assessment. Look, it's up to them, and very little of it's up to me. If I can effectively communicate the opportunity and try to get a little bit better each day at doing that, then if it's the right person, I fully believe that this could benefit them, then I'll keep nurturing and working with them. But if for some reason I'm not looking forward to working with them, or I don't personally myself believe that it's a better fit, then they don't maybe stay on my list or get nurtured as much. So it's really about the relationship, finding out, back to stuff from Gene Frederick, only talk about their need. They don't want to talk, and if you're talking about your need, that's not going to work. And if you're talking about their need because your need is for them to come to EXP, that's not going to work. So you got to, build a relationship and figure out what their need is, and then, help them with that. And then a lot of times that need isn't fulfilled today or this week or this month. And but I've had a lot of people. I had a guy come over 2 years to the day that I sent him Expert Mentors video. And it was the first One Big Fire with Jay. And I thought that was so cool. Actually, when he's coming on, I was hoping it took one more day. And it was 2 years to the day.
Did you send him the video?
Yeah. And I looked on Expert Mentors. There's the video date. There's the onboarding date. So it takes a while. And then the guy was a CE teacher, great guy. I think he's going to do real well at the company. I believed it was a good fit for him. And, but the time went right 2 years ago. The time went right 1 year ago. And I was okay with that. Yeah. So you got to be okay with it, and then know who you want to try to help, because you can't help everyone. So you can secretly target.
Let's get into kind of your rhythm, your process for newer opportunities. And then I would love to then unpack a little bit what your monthly communication to your entire organization looks like. So those are two things that I definitely want to pull out of you to share with everybody. So let's dive into kind of what your process looks like, new opportunities. How do you keep track of them? What's the rhythm, the cadence of follow-up? I think that'll be really helpful for everybody.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So on the new opportunities, I have people ask me, one or two people usually reach out to me after the first of each month and ask me questions. And I'm happy to take all those questions. But, I tell them it's a lot like when the first day you got in real estate and you got a license, who did you tell that you could help? Well, so it's very similar. So now I tell people, of course, there's a lot of book answers that, work in the beginning, and they're important. So you make a list, then you have to segment the list. We can talk about that a little bit more later. And then you have to personalize the effort. But within the
So segment the list. Tell everybody what you mean by that?
Yeah. So, you start a list, and I tell agents that I tell to start a list, and then I ask them later if they start a list, and they say no. I say, all right, well, put one person on the list, because you can't have a list if you put one person. So let's start with one. So I like to, get down to the basics of it. But once you have the list, you can't just keep inviting them to watch a Brent Go video or One Big Fire video. So what I do, and I've got it somewhat scaled down to a pretty good system, is that I don't, I used to, you had to watch a video. So now I ask the agent that if they have some level of interest, and well, let me back up a little bit. So I either find them through some emails that I've sent out or had sent out, individual emails to agents, ask them if they want to open to a conversation. I do some right now. LinkedIn's pretty big, some messaging on LinkedIn. But beyond that, something everyone can do starting today is my lender has given me a really good agent. I talked to a different lender today that said they may have an agent for me. Told my family that my mom knows a lot of agents, but that hadn't worked for me yet, but it could. I have friends. I have a contract to close lady that sent me a really good agent that's on board. My closing attorney is aware that I would like for them to send me an agent. They did send me one agent, still that's a nurture. And so it's a lot like being, a buyer's agent. You're just tell folks that you're in the normal rhythm of your real estate business, that you're looking for agents that you can help. Not looking for agents I can recruit DXP. Give me a call, and we'll have a conversation and see if I can provide some value and present you with an opportunity that you may want to look at a little bit more. So that's number one thing that pretty much every agent can do. Once you have the list, though, if I used to send the One Big Fire video, but now I use the One Big Fire. A little plug here, One Big Fire Live, www.onebigfirelive.com every Thursday at 1 o'clock. 2 Eastern time, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. So I'm almost always there, and almost always have 1 to 4 agents unless I do a mass invite. Lately, I've been focusing more on a higher quality invite than a mass invite.
Tell people what that is, because they might not be aware with onebigfirelive.com on Thursdays.
So everybody, this Thursday, change your schedule. If you can't do it this Thursday, block it for next Thursday. But go to www.onebigfirelive.com and watch Jay Kinder pour his heart and soul into a 30 to 40 minute presentation on EXP, but more so about partnering with us and the model of EXP. And then he'll do a little Q&A. So it's gold. Now, is it magical and people call me up afterward and thank me and come over? No, but it's a piece of the puzzle, though. So almost everyone that's come over has watched that. And I've had some that didn't watch it, and I tell them go back and get on. I have one that came on, I'm like, every Thursday, I keep inviting her, you need to go watch this. So that's free, it's easy. It kind of goes back to what we learned from Brian Crothers, no fear, no skill. So you invite somebody to that, you call them up and say, what did you like? They give you an answer. Do you have any questions? Would you like for me to that's a great question. Would you like for me to get us through a call with Jay to answer that question, or have their sponsor answer the question? So the thought behind that is no skill, because anybody can invite anybody to that, and no fear, because you don't have to know the answer. And so everybody can start agent attraction today with no fear and no skill. And, and then from there, it's just a learning process of growing within the system and finding out how to do things a little bit better and at a higher level. So,
one thing I want to give some props. There is one honey badger that holds himself at highest level of accountability, and that is you. You post your wealth chart every month like clockwork. That is a huge get for all of you guys listening in to this episode. Dan is the only honey badger that holds himself accountable and takes a picture and posts it in the honey badger group of his wealth chart every month.
Yeah. Michael Reese gets credit for helping me to realize how important that was. And, it was scary at first, and it was scary when I didn't have the numbers I wanted, especially in the beginning. And sometimes even still, because I don't hit my numbers always. And but it does everything Michael Reese says is that, I'm accountable, and then I'm making it public. So I'm super accountable. And I take it a step farther, actually, John. And when I started doing this, I think it's like, I've been doing it about a year and a half, and probably month 2 or 3, really early, I thought, you know what, I'm going to send it to all 7 of the people in my upline. So then I thought, wow, you're really going to do that? Because, I have a pretty powerful upline in that it's Michael Reese, Jay Kinder, Al Stacy, Cliff Freeman, Brent Go, Sheila Fairjohn, and
Rob Flick.
Rob Flick. So I'm like, wow, you really going to send that to Rob Flick? And, now I know Rob, and he comments back once a month, and he'll almost every time Brent will shoot me a little comment. But, and somebody asked me 6 months ago, you going to post your wealth chart? I was like, how could I not?
Have to.
Yeah, they would probably think there's something wrong with me if, they know how important it is. And Rob Flick told me in Mexico, he goes, now you have your downline sending you their wealth chart. And I said, nah. He goes, well, you know how helpful it's been to you? And I was like, yes, sir. And he's like, well, as soon as they start sending me your wealth chart, it'll be that helpful to them. And so it really happened like I'd like it to, but it could. So if you're out there and you're anywhere in my downline, doesn't matter who you are. Heck, I don't even care. Even if you're not my downline, send it to me and I'll help you out if you want me to.
That's right.
So,
I know Matt's listening in. Matt and DJ will be sending their wealth chart this month.
Yeah, anybody that knows me well knows that it's not about my up or down line. You can send it to me, and I'll be happy to help you too. I put that at the bottom of my monthly post, and I mean it. So give me a call, and I've had several people do that, and I think about it a little bit of value. But yep, it's good stuff. Michael Reese nailed it. Hey, while I'm on that subject, Michael Reese told me I flew him in town twice a long time ago from Lunch and Learns.
Yep.
And the first time sitting at PF Chang's.
Imagine that.
Yeah, he said, told me a lot of great things. I probably learned more at the dinners than at the Lunch and Learns, but he said, you can buy 40. And I was like, what? And I was like, huh. So tell me that again. He goes, well, you can buy 40. And I was like, okay, I get the fact that, there's not like 800 number you call and give me your credit card and you got 40 FLQAs. But that was big for me. That was really big because at that moment, after it sunk in and I grasped what he was saying, I was aware that, hey, knucklehead, you spent tens of thousands of dollars on real estate and leads and systems throughout your career. Might want to put a little bit of dollars behind growing a business that is revenue share. Mm-hmm. So, but just like buying internet leads or some system to work with buyers and sellers, you need to be smart about it. And you need to analyze it and weigh the risk and the reward and maybe talk to someone else that has done it. But that has held true to me too. So I wouldn't have the agent count that I have if I hadn't put some money behind it. And in the beginning, I was willing to put a little bit. And then, I told Jay recently what percentage it was. And, it's higher than most people would think. But and sooner or later, that needs to stop. But, when you're trying to grow a business, right, you take that, or if you're trying to grow your listings, you put money behind that. And then you have a tendency to put more money behind it to get more. Well, there's things you can do in agent attraction that if you'll spend a little bit of money. Okay, so one thing is CRM grow. So back to your original question on the system, I have an agent and I have agents and they go in CRM grow. I'm a visual kind of guy, so I like the fact a lot that I can put them in as a lead. And then I try to keep it real simple. They're either a warm or they're a nurture or they're a hot or they're a top 100. And so I still have people 2.5 years later, well, 2 years and 4 months later, that are on a top 100 list that still I haven't fully talked to about EXP, and they're not hot and they're not warm and they're not a nurture because they're on the list and they haven't made it off the list. So that helps with segmenting the list. And you know what? Sometimes my hots go to warm and sometimes my warms go to nurture, and sometimes my nurture may go cold. They'll go, you know what? I thought about it. I'm not coming over. And then at that point, I'm fine, but then I have to look within myself and go, but do you think you could help this person? Do you think someday it might be a good fit? Or if not, maybe they do go cold and they'll either never come or somebody else will get them, but it's not a good fit for me. So CRM Grow, I think it's $29 or $39 a month. It houses really good videos. It's very comparable to Expert Mentors, which I used in the beginning. I still have it. Everyone was in there. I just like CRM Grow personally a little bit better because I can see the different funnels or different areas. So either one works great though. So but that would be a great first investment would be $29 or $39. That way you have your people in a list. They're in a CRM.
They're segmented out.
Yep, you have videos that you can send out, and you get notified if and when they watch them, so you know when to follow up a little bit more than your taskbar tells you to do.
So what's the based upon the segmentation? What's that communication? Based upon hot, warm, cold. What does that communication look like for you?
Yeah, so that's a great question too. So I am as human as anyone else on this. I do not do it nearly as good as I should. It's working a database. So if most of you know that if you're working a database, it's not it's not an event, it's a process. Mm-hmm. And it needs to be a daily process. And for me, it's not. But so ideally, like in a perfect world, all my leads, so I have about 600 people in there, about 450 are leads that they've either they're all warm. So they either contact me through LinkedIn, through lunch and learns that we used to do. They're all someone or maybe some messaging through emails. They're all in there for a reason. They're not just random agents. So I would invite them. Ideally, I should make them aware of something going on with EXP once a month. Probably once every 2 months, they should get invited to either Brent Go video or One Big Fire with Jay. That's what I do. Everybody gets a choice. If I was talking to you today, John, in this first conversation, and you had a little bit of interest in a real estate opportunity, had a little bit of a conversation, then I'm going to give you an option to, if you'd like more information, I can send you a video. And then what I learned recently is everybody's not going to watch the video. And I used to kind of be of the mindset that if you tell them enough and you pique their interest enough and you tell them that their needs going to be satisfied in the video, they'll watch the video. All that's true, but still some people won't watch the video. And so 2 weeks ago, Sam Rodriguez, EXP Auditorium on Wednesday, a guy in there was a KW Maps coach, and he said, look, so everybody won't watch the video. I think it was personality that has a likely not to watch the video. But what I learned from him was I'm going to give him a choice. So what he said is he has a conversation, he sets a coffee appointment. My question to him was, what goes on between the appointment set and the coffee appointment? Do you send them a video? Do you send them information? And he had a great answer. And his answer was, I asked them what they want. And I thought, that's brilliant. So back to being real simple, right? And not rocket science instead of cramming a video down their throat. Because I did have the realization not too long ago that since I'm only supposed to help them and talk about their needs, after hundreds and hundreds of agents, nobody ever said, hey, Dan, what I really need to do is cram a 30-minute video down my throat so that I don't want to watch. So I'm being a little harsh on the video. There is a lot of value in the video. Don't get me wrong there. But, the people that won't watch, then the other suggestion is, hey, watch it with them. I don't know. Somebody said, hey, wouldn't it be cool to watch a video together? I go, no, not really. I'm just not that kind of guy, so probably not going to really happen for me. It probably should. I know it works well for other people, but back to knowing yourself, who you are and what you can do. And you want to watch a video together? why don't you watch it and I'll watch it, and then we'll, or why don't you watch it or not? I don't know. But I also will do something that a lot of agents may not do is I'll go meet you for coffee if I think there's some value and it's a good idea to meet with you, and then maybe you can watch the video.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to watch a video, you don't have to, but then you need to get on one big fire with Jay. And then if you don't want to do one of those things, then you're just not ready, and then that's fine.
Yeah.
Then you list not ready list.
We'll just keep adding value, keep dripping on you, and trying to uncover, like what Gene talks about, just try to uncover what your pain point is. And if I know your pain point, because I have you in the database and you're segmented, and I know your pain point, when something pops up that could be a solution to your pain point,
right?
That's a great reason to reach out because it's relevant to their situation. Kathy was just asking, you use KV Core for real estate, but not for agent attraction, right? It's just CRM Grow. Right.
Yeah. I have one agent that I brought to the company that uses it and he seems to like it, but I don't know. I also agree with Michael Reese. He said, hey, you need to, or he said, Michael, he didn't say I need to, he said he would. What I would do is, be an expert in KV Core. So I am diving deep into KV Core that just started about a month ago, and actually bought the team site just so I could have a team site presence and position myself as a team at EXP, even though I don't have a traditional real estate team at EXP, probably don't own one. Nothing against it, just not for me. So, and then Cliff Freeman Jr., talked to him not too long ago, and a big tip from him was leads are the money for the agent. So, if you're going to do this at a high level, you're probably going to have to help agents, and you're probably going to have to help them with leads or appointments.
Yeah, that's a great point. I know that's what the guys are working on, agent productivity and stuff right now as well. So it really is. A couple things, but Scott was asking, how are you using LinkedIn? I know Brian shared the attractlink.com. Are you using a track link, or what are you doing with LinkedIn?
Yeah, I use a track link. So I'm relatively new in a track link. I had a service similar to a track link prior to a track link. So basically they're just finding people that are open to an opportunity, and then you have to take it from there.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it's just trying to get it, kind of what Woods Davis would teach you or has taught me. We're really just trying to get in a conversation. So whether it's a new construction funnel or it's someone on LinkedIn that they said happy birthday to, and they said thank you, maybe I go into love talk to you about a real estate opportunity sometime. So yeah, they just it's not about EXP on LinkedIn. It's about a real estate opportunity. There's various messaging that can go out, and then you just have to pick up the conversation. And they don't say, hey, yeah, tell me about this. It's like, okay, might be interested. Tell me more. So you just have to learn, because this is a lot. I'm a student of the game. So you have to learn how to go from okay to trying to contact them to have a conversation. So
I love it, Scott. I would recommend either connect with Dan.
Yep.
Or connect with Andre. Andre spent more time in LinkedIn than anybody I know. So Andre LaFountain is on here, Scott. So I would connect with either one of those gentlemen. Will be able to get you going down the right path when it comes to LinkedIn for sure.
Don't do it short term though. Real quick, that's a longer term play. It's you're finding people that are going to raise their hand, and then you want to nurture them along. You want to start a relationship. You want to figure out what their pain point is, and then it's golly, it's so much about timing. It's unbelievable. It's so much about timing.
Are you using? Kathy's asking. Are you working with Nick, and do you have a content cards? Just kind of a site. Do you have that set up as well?
Yeah, that's a big deal for me. So I've been playing around last few weeks with some of my messaging on LinkedIn to when they say, tell me more. So I'm trying to have a shorter message that drives them to www.dansrealestatesolutions.com, which is the content cards, which drives, and then I tell them to scroll down and click on Agents Partner with Us tab. And by the way, you can watch a video at the top of that second landing page, or you can get some good information about what it looks like to partner with us on that page. So it's a longer term hope, but sooner or later, someone that I send that message to that I'm not going to get on the phone is going to watch that. I'm going to get a phone call and they're going to say, hey, okay, I looked at all this stuff and I'm ready to come over, or I'm ready to have a conversation. So it's just about getting in a conversation. Then you have to learn to do the skill set to be good enough to build a relationship, to figure out what their pain is, and then to have a conversation about an opportunity.
I love it. I love it. So two things as we're coming to the top of the hour.
Yeah.
One, talk to the individual that's listening in. That's like, I see, I don't have the influence of a Jay Kinder, I don't have a mega team, I'm just a solo agent. Like, I don't think I can do this. Right.
Yeah.
I know it's a limiting belief, but speak to that individual, because that's a real story going on in a lot of agents' heads. And I know you can help them with that.
Yeah, that's real. So, I'm about a 20 unit kind of guy, just so you'll know. Not a mega agent. I told Jay in the beginning, I said, he'll get a kick out of this. He's watching or sees it. But I said, look, man, as soon as you run out of these 200 plus mega agent guys, you're going to run out of them sooner or later. There's a whole bunch of me out there. We can figure out I can blow this thing up. Then, we can work with something here. I'm thinking, I don't know how many people sell 200 units that you're going to bring over, but it's not me. But however many there are, there's way more people doing 15 to 20 deals than there are 200.
100%.
So, there's a real need. So part of the reason that I have a lot of passion and enthusiasm about the agent attraction piece of this is because I was a struggling agent for a long time. And look, there are more struggling agents out there than there are mega agents. And now you have to figure out which one of those struggling agents might be a good fit for you. But look, there's agents out there that would love to have somebody spend a little time, a little help, and show them that they care and sincerely be willing to help them. And those agents, they may not bring over the whales for you, but those agents are needed. I don't care who you talk to, because I've been talking to a lot of them lately. Those agents are super important, and they're super important to me. And I want to help them be successful. And part of the reason that this company is amazing and wonderful is because I can spend time with that agent, where in a traditional real estate team, I couldn't spend too much time with that agent because you weren't going to pay the bills and you weren't going to pay the leads back, and it might be a lost cause. But guess what? One of those agents now, if you have a big enough team, they might affect your next level of income, which would provide a considerable amount of money to you. And now that agent's wealth just went way up. So that is super cool to me, because there are a lot of people that could be good agents. They just need to be with the right group, have the right help in the right direction. So you can do this, because if you're selling 5 houses or somebody's selling 4, and if you time, and you don't have to be the one to help them too much with this, you can time into John Kitchens with the calls that we have on Honey Badger Nation. You can time into NAEA, get their code from Holly, and you get access to NAEA and you become certified. So you could be selling 5 houses and help somebody that sells 20 houses become a better listing or buyer's agent through NAEA. So it's a belief that's between your ears. And I still struggle with maybe helping much higher level agents. I did have a call today. Actually, when it's over, I got to check my phone, but I think I have a call with a KW market center owner, the market that's not doing great here, perhaps. So if he looks me up on Broker Matrix, he's going to be going, not so sure why I would have value talking to this guy. But, now my story is such, and I've had enough success to where my numbers can get me in a conversation with people like that. Here's what we learned, though, at Key West, to a little nugget. Here's what we learned at Key West the last time we were there. When Brian Crothers looked around the room, and he pointed to some agent and said, could you bring a Jay Kinder DXP and lead? Yeah. And he's like, no, you can't. So, but what you can do is you can get, maybe point Michael or something about it. But he said, what you can do is you can get Jay Kinder to help you bring Michael Reese DXP. So you don't have to be able to do this. So if you're an agent that thinks you can't do this, well, first of all, you're right. But if you're an agent that thinks maybe I could do this, and if I look into the system and try to figure it out a little bit more, then you can do it. But you can do it by leaning on them. So back to no skill and no fear. Jay will do the work for you get them to that. Now, look, I don't have Jay talk to anyone that's not seen a video or been on his One Big Fire Live. He doesn't talk to random people for me that don't know enough to ask questions. But if you can get them on there, then Jay will do, or we will do most of the work for you. So, yep, you can do it. You got to build a list. You got to start inviting people. Invite whoever becomes best inviter wins. And until what they told me, I was one of the first people on Expert Mentors. And I was on the phone with, I guess, the software development guy and Jay. And the guy said, all right, here's what I want you doing, Dan. I'm like, all right, I'm ready. And he goes, nothing. And I went, well, I can do that. That's pretty cool. But got to be a little bit more to it than that. And he said, just find somebody interested in hearing about opportunity, get them watch a video, and get them on the phone with Jay. And so that holds true 2 years and 3 months ago as well as holds true today. If you don't know how to do it, great. You don't have to. Get them on a video. If you don't have one, you can go to www.themodelexplain.com. It's Brent's. Brent goes for most recent video. It's pretty darn good. And get them to watch that. Then that qualifies in my mind to get them on the phone with a 3-way call with your sponsor or with Jay or with somebody else. So, yep, if you can invite to that and then get them on a 3-way call, and then the magic doesn't always happen then you got to follow up and figure out when the correct timing is for them. But you too can do it. Don't think you can't. If you want to, get in touch with me and I'll walk you through it a little bit more. But it's about as basic as that in the very beginning.
What's communication these days look like for you and your organization? I know, we used to do a lot of stuff in person, but as things have we've had to adapt a little bit. What's current communication to your organization?
Yeah, well, I've been lacking on that a little bit lately. I used to do a once a month Get Money Now training that I really just piggyback off of Woods Davis, Michael Reese. So, with COVID, I'm kind of falling short on that. Need to pick that back up, but reaching out a lot through Reach. That's another $4.99 a month you can spend, and you can put your agents in there. That's what I used to invite quickly via text. It's a Reach app on Apple, $4.99. Everyone goes in as they're the same list as they are in CRM Grow. And then I can invite to one big fire in a matter of, I could probably have 50 invites out in a matter of probably 5 minutes to that. And the key there is I don't send a link, so I send the invitation, and then I tell them to text me back yes if they want the link. The reason I do that, and that's just how I do it. You might do it differently. But the reason I do that, then I know who to follow up with. Because if I sent 50 people an invite, I'd have to follow up with 50 people. But if I send 50 invites and 7 people request a link, then probably 3 or 4 got on. But then I can follow up with all 7. And then it's back to, I don't have to know anything. It's back, did you watch the webinar? Yeah, great. What did you like? Great. You have any questions? Yeah, great. Okay, let me pull out Jay's calendar and see if we can get on the schedule. Now, at this point, I do a little bit more than that, answering questions. But still, there's a lot of value in me not answering questions and I still do 3-way calls with Jay. Don't do them as much as I used to, but yep, still a big piece. If you're not inviting people to a presentation or doing 3-way calls, you're probably not really recruiting or attracting people to the company.
What do you think for you, Dan, is the main focus, the thing you're working on the most with agent attraction right now?
That's a great question. So what I'm working on that's up and coming is to start doing even taking it to the next level and helping agents with what their need is. And I got a lot out of Cliff Freeman from that. He really brought home the fact that if you're teaching agents something, then you can have a higher conversation or better conversation than you can about EXP if you're not. So initially it would start with, and he's pretty big on generating free leads on Facebook. Doesn't have to be much, and I've talked to a few other agents and I've told them, look, I talked to one guy, does flipping. I said, I think you could maybe parlay off that. So find out whatever you can do or know how to do in real estate. Maybe you could find an agent that you could be helpful in that area with, and then you could let them know that one thing that you like about EXP. So try to get a little 15-second elevator. What do you like about EXP? And then what I like about EXP is, and then whatever your answer is, it's different for everyone, for most people. And then, you can go from there to just try to be a human and have a human conversation and try to genuinely want to help them and figure out what their need is, and then see if you can solve that need with EXP when the time's right. And that's kind of what it comes down to.
What's the one thing you like about EXP?
The one thing I like about EXP is I'm able to help agents at a higher level than I could before. So, big deal with me being in my 50s is an exit strategy. But, I just love the company. I love the opportunity. And, I was a guy that was going, all right, how much money do you have to have, and how much is enough, and how long are you going to live, and how do you know how much is enough? And I guess I'll be like everybody else and keep my license active in case I got to list a house when I'm older than I want to list houses. And, I'm not there yet, but I see the opportunity of my life story and gonna probably have that ending that it would have had 3 years ago if I hadn't. Because I was like, I don't know. I've told you, John, I won't go into too much detail about it, but I was like, I don't have 20 years left in me of grinding this out with. I love selling real estate. I still like helping buyers and sellers, but I've been mostly a buyer's agent guy. And I thought, I don't know how I'm going to do this for another 20 years. And I don't know how I'm not going to do this for another 20 years. And this company's allowed me not to, maybe toss and turn or wonder if that was, how that was going to end. So, not there yet, but sure see a little brighter future than I did prior to.
Yes, sir. It's been fun to kind of be on the journey with you. As we wrap up here, what's the one thing Honey Badger Nation can help you with?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know what, John? I'll give you the answer I gave about 2 years and 3 months ago. I don't know, but I'll get back to you on that.
There you go.
Hey, I did have one answer on that. Asked Jay. He asked me a while back what he could do for me. He goes, what do you need? How can I help you more? And I said, I don't know, Jay, let me think about that. So I thought about it, and it was probably 6-7 months ago, just recently, probably weeks ago. I said, hey, man, I got the answer. And he's like, all right, what's the answer? And I said, you can help the agents that I brought to the company at a higher level, but I know it's up to me to get them to you, and I appreciate everything you've done, but the best way to help me is to help them. And so it took me months to figure that out, because I'm like, what could Jay Kinder do for me, man? I got the golden lamp here. I could rub it. And I realized that the answer was to, if you help, and such is life, right? If he helps the people that I've helped at a higher level, and then that'll be all the help that he could ever give me.
Dan, absolute gold. Man, I really appreciate you making the time. Like I said, I was really looking forward to this conversation just because I know the human being you are and the value that you bring not only to your organization, but to everybody in your life. And if somebody wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way to connect?
Yeah, just give me through Messenger on Facebook. Or you can go to www.dansrealestatesolutions.com and scroll down to the Agents Partner with Us tab. I know if the EXP people, that's fine. Then you just click on my schedule and hop on. And then just kind of recap, though, is what you're looking for is to make that agent's need your need and not to make your need their need. And then that kind of fits right in line with the way I try to live my life and try to figure out what God's will is. And the closer my will is to his will, the better off. It's really the same with agent attraction. The closer their need is to your need. I mean, your need is the closer that you can help them with their need, make their need your need, the better off you'll be. Better off both of you will be.
Yeah.
Stumbled through that, but the message is there. So replay it.
Message is there. Appreciate you, Dan, man. Amazing call. Thank you for adding a ton of value, being a true expert mentor, and really pouring into everybody today. For all of you guys listening in to the recording here with us live on Facebook group or wherever you see this message, make sure you share your biggest takeaway with Dan, and make sure you guys give him plenty of love. Dan, thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. Thank all of you guys listening in, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode.
Thank you, John. Very good. Thanks, buddy.